Today we're reacting to Sony's latest State of Play live stream and all of the games announced. Which games were the stars of the show? Which games were cringe? And most importantly, what grade would we give the Sony show overall? Stick around to find out. Welcome, friends, to a special episode of Good Playing With You, your weekly gaming news roundup. I'm Dan Whitehill, and as always, I'm joined by my trusty team of Matts, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
And Matthew Moulding.
Hey now.
Before we hit the headlines, one quick note. We are 297 subs away from our goal of 1,000, so if you could hit the like and subscribe button, that would mean a lot, and we would appreciate it. Now, with that out of the way, let's break down the biggest headlines and games of Sony's latest show. First up, gentlemen, Pragmata. Now, this was Capcom's long-awaited sci-fi adventure. I guess it was announced in 2022, and then they kind of like made a joke at the end and scratched it out and put 2026. But it was a game that I've never really heard of, to be honest with you, but it featured a space guy and then this Megan-esque sort of robot that he was protecting.
That's a good call. It was Megan. That's right. It totally was Megan.
So she was like riding on his back, and Space Dude and Megan were shooting people in space. What'd you guys think?
I liked this one. This was sort of like, this was a good way. I mean, they kicked the show off with Loomis, which is a little interesting, and then they went to this
I thought I was on an acid trip.
I was like, what?
I was like, what am I watching?
They kind of shuffled it over to this one, and I was like, okay, this I'm vibing with. I liked the cool dodging and the combat style. I really like hack mechanics, which I think is going to be a big part of this one. The Megan girl, they like named her in the trailer.
Diana, I think.
Diana.
Yep, that's what she said.
That was cool. I thought it was kind of sweet. You know, I'm a sucker for, like, you know, you got Death Stranding, you got the baby, you got a little critter on your back in this one. So I'm all in on this one. I thought it looked really good, and the graphics looked freaking sharp, so I was there.
Moulding?
I also thought it looked good. It gave me what's the space, Dead Space vibes, but with more a robotic sort of thing. I agree, like the hacking. What I don't agree with is this escorting children. I don't care if it's a robot, android, cyborg. I don't care if it's a Palm Pilot or a cell phone. I don't want to be escorting anybody. But maybe I can put that aside for this game because it did look really cool.
I'm hoping it's just like, since she's such a like dangerous robot, you don't have to escort that much. Like, she can almost take care of you in a sense. And I'm hoping it's that way. That's like kind of what I was getting the vibe from.
I agree. If we could like upgrade her powers, and then like if she could be a turret and I could just throw her and then she just mow down dudes or something, like, then we're on to something. I agree. The graphics looked good here. I know they referenced their 2022 initial release and then scratched it out as a joke, but I don't even remember seeing this game before. It looked so different and it looked so modern and it was just unique. So yeah, this one definitely caught my eye, and it was an interesting take I hadn't seen before.
Why they didn't start with this and started with Luminous or Lumos instead, I'll never know. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, agreed. I was such a when they did that, I was like, oh man, this show about to do something.
Starting the bar really low, but then the hits kept coming. The next up was Silent Hill F. Konami showcased Silent Hill F, a new entry in the Silent Hill franchise in 1960s Japan, blending psychological horror with a unique narrative. The game is slated for September 25th, 2025. And what was awesome about this is we got to finally see the combat and the gameplay, the characters and the bad, guys in motion and stuff like that. What did you guys think of this trailer?
This one was great. I did like it. And guess what? They confirmed that there's not just flower monsters there. We are actually getting a variety of enemies, because that was my biggest concern when we saw the look a few months back. So this kind of honestly redeemed itself. There was a little bit of combat that I was a little sus on. The kind of static, the combat seemed a little static when the enemies were coming towards you. I thought maybe there could be a little more motion going on, but I thought it looked pretty scary, and they showed some cool moments that I was not expecting out of this one.
Molding.
I don't care about Silent Hill. These games aren't for me. I'm not really interested in them. I do like the fact it reminds me of Cabin in the Woods. I don't know if you remember the movie Cabin in the Woods. There's this whole like Japanese school children like side story trying to kill this ghost. That's what it reminded me of. But other than that, this isn't a game for me. But that is absolutely fun.
I gotta agree actually with you both. First off, Lord, you're totally right. This, and I hate to be a dick and say this, but for me, this really was a redemption. Finally, we're used to the Silent Hill eerie stuff or whatever, and I was like, okay, just show me the goods. And this trailer delivered. It had the characters that looked really cool. The mannequins look cooler than ever before because they've got all of these pieces, and then it showed like these boss characters. I agree the combat might be a little stilted, but there was at least a dodge mechanic with the girl where she was crouching down. This one definitely piqued my interest. I was a little bit sus on this game before, but this trailer might have me sold. It's starting to really look good. I'm not a huge fan of, I don't want to be a schoolgirl from Japan, but the 1960s aesthetic and the fact that in the trailer, they kept repeating the word traitor and calling her a traitor. I was like, okay, that's interesting to me. I'm curious to see where this goes. This definitely made the game look a lot better to me.
And then the finale monster where she's walking up and then the chick turns around. I thought that was a pretty good little monster look.
All solid.
It was solid. So I was like,
everything,
okay, it looks pretty scary. And I really also liked how they took you out of the Japanese village at one point and they put you in that like almost like a field with like your body's all twisted. And I just thought that was a cool setting too. I'm like, okay, so we're not just in the little, wooden village the whole time. We're getting some other locations. I was happy with it. That was a good turnout, and can't wait for that one, honestly.
Yeah, good for them. Definitely a stronger trailer and showing than they've had before. But another surprise of the show, and this could be more of a me game, so if you bag on it, it's fine. But it was Bloodstained, the Scarlet Engagement. So the Bloodstained series continues with the Scarlet Engagement, offering gothic adventure gameplay expected in 2026. The game will delve deeper into the lore and introduce new characters and abilities. And essentially, if you haven't seen this trailer or you're not familiar with Bloodstained, it is the spiritual successor to the Castlevania games. They are these 2D games and they are fantastic. You can level up with XP if you're not very good like me in these games, and you can make yourself more powerful before going and fighting these bosses. It had a really interesting mix of art styles with like 3D cinematics, but then the 2D gameplay, which they've done before, but this one was even more, and it looked bigger and it looked just different. What did you guys think about it?
Not to be a broken record, again, not a game for me, but this, I can totally, absolutely see the people that are into this game, why this would be like top of the list. Like it does look like it could be fun if you're into that play style, but it's just not my play style, but it looked great.
A lot of people were, calling it the, Castlevania in the chat. And I was like, oh, maybe they are doing a little bit of a Castlevania. But then I wasn't mad when they revealed it was Bloodstained. I haven't played the others that much. I have a little bit, but this one, I got to say, piqued my interest. I thought the enemies looked really cool. I love it has to be a pretty unique Metroidvania to really get me interested, but hey, I thought they did a pretty stellar job with this one. And then they had like it was very reminiscent of Blasphemous, which is another like Metroidvania type, which I love. So any other games that look like Blasphemous, I'm all for. So bring it on. I think this one could be cool.
Well, I loved the previous one. Like you mentioned, there was another one that was more of like a demake, but the previous one that was on Game Pass for a while, and it was fantastic. It was super huge and so many.
Was that
enemies
Ritual of the Night?
That's exactly right. Yeah, great call. And it was fantastic. So I finished Ritual of the Night, and I could not wait for more. And so I saw this, and this looks exactly what I wanted. It's more.
Yep.
So I'm super pumped for that one. All right, after that, they showed off Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles, a remake of the classic tactical RPG. The title brings enhanced visuals and gameplay improvements to the beloved Final Fantasy Tactics. Players will return to the intricate political and magical conflicts of Ivalice, experiencing the story and modernized graphics and mechanics. What did you guys think of this one, and have you played the previous one?
Not only have I played the previous one, here is my copy from 1997 that I brought out. This is the original PlayStation one.
Dang.
I am so absolutely excited for this game. What I thought was really cool, it was a complete surprise. People have been kind of begging Square Enix to do this remake for this game for a long time. It was kind of like, maybe it was a secret, maybe it wasn't. I'm not quite sure. I cannot wait. It's awesome that they're also including like the original version and the upgrade, the remake version in the same game. That's what it looks like to me. It's available
Yeah, they are.
platforms, it looks like, not just PlayStation. That's good for me too. I'm super excited, and this one is a day one purchase for me.
More Final Fantasy Tactics. I love it. I mean, it takes me back to my days with the PSP. Playing Tactics on that one was so much fun. So really hoping this one, does it justice, and we got some more Tactics to play. What about you, Dan? Did you play these?
I'll take a note from Malding and say, this isn't exactly a game for me.
Hey, I sound much nicer than that.
I know, I've just been waiting all day to actually do that one, so I had to.
Because you knew I'd like this one and you were prepared. I understand. It's fine.
Exactly.
But like, just one other note, I love the Tactics art style, and I think they're keeping that intact. So I was really hyped seeing what they were coming up with. I was pretty pumped for this one. It looks good.
Yeah, definitely a good looking game.
Excited.
The next game was also a looker, and that was Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. This title features upgraded visuals and gameplay enhancements scheduled for release on August 28th, 2025. The game will also include the return of Snake vs. Monkey minigame, so all the wacky shenanigans can be expected. What did you guys think of the look?
Malding.
This is yours, I think, Lord. Don't you love it? Did
You're
you
the
love
man.
this?
Stan.
I gotta say, they it looks like it's gonna be a sweet looking game. It was so funny. I feel like I'm seeing two different kind of sides of this game. I'm seeing some parts that the graphics look honestly like unbelievable, and then I'm seeing some things that look a little not where it should be. I don't know. Maybe it's just like two different parts of the game, but some of the things looked a little bit better than the other parts. I'm not sure what's going on there exactly, but I will say what got me very excited was the cool new like camo feature that they showed at the very end, where Snake is up against the wall and he's like some ivy, and then he goes over and he becomes some rocks. I mean, there's not a ton of information on what that actually is happening there, but I love the camo in Metal Gear Solid 3. That was like half of the reason why. I mean, I just love the camo, just hiding and in plain sight.
The camo was the standout of the trailer, and I was like, more games need this cool camo. For sure, I thought that.
Oh, so stoked on that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it comes out in August, so it really can't come out soon enough. I really can't wait to play this one.
I never played the original, so I'm super excited to play this one. I think it looks great. I really love Metal Gear, or I love the last one, the open world one. So I'll be curious to see how this remake looks and how it plays, and it'll be my first time. So yeah,
dang, Malding first. For some reason, I thought you had played the third one.
No, I played one of them back in the day, and then I played the last one. But other than that, I haven't. They're just too nuts. They're too crazy. For me.
The third one is pretty nuts, but it also feels. I think that's why it's so beloved. Is it's nuts, but it feels very grounded and very like real life, type of deal. So I'm very excited.
Other than that whole jumping on a rock and turning into a rock thing.
Yeah, that's a little different. See, that's like a whole new thing. That wasn't exactly how it was in the originals. You had to go in and like select camo manually. So if they're doing something where where it will update on the fly, I think that would be a nice little feature, that quality of life improvement.
Yeah, it looks fun.
It does look fun, and we hopefully will learn more about that before that comes out. Another thing that I also hope we learn more about is 007 First Light. developed by IO Interactive. 007 First Light is a prequel exploring James Bond's origin story as a young MI6 recruit. The game will be given a deeper dive presentation later this year where we'll actually see full-on gameplay, but I do think there are little pieces of it in this trailer. It is set for a 2026 release. This one was a looker. Gentlemen, what did you think?
I've been looking forward to this game for a long time, not because I'm a James Bond fan, but because I'm a Hitman fan. And it's the same company that does the Hitman games. So I am very excited. However, the graphics looked a little cartoonish to me, and I was not really keen on that.
With you,
but
Malding.
we'll
Bing.
see what they come
Ding,
up
ding,
with.
ding.
You're both wrong. It looked fantastic, and I
No.
think this Bond could be more handsome than Jason from GTA 6. Oh, it's a matchup for
Really?
2026. Who's going to be the
Whoa.
most handsome? We don't even know. I mean,
I like
thought this
my
game...
dirty thugs. You can have you can have James.
Yeah, I'm more of a dirty thug guy myself, to be honest. I'm in Malding's camp with that. I don't know. Dan, you're the graphics guy. I'm a little surprised you're on board.
I think that what it was is they showed off just so much of gameplay elements that I'm interested in. They showed off racing, they showed off stealth takedowns and like distractions. They showed off a lot of shooting. So yes, was it the best looking game? Definitely not. But was it an action-packed kind of story? It almost had, like that Uncharted scratching that itch for me. I was like, this is going to be a narrative. This is going to go somewhere. Look, there's a 009. He's an evil agent. He's turned on us. I'm going to take him down. It's going to be awesome. I'm telling you, this game is going to be really, really good.
Oh, I think I completely agree with you. It's just that look is a little suspect.
Okay. Yeah. I can forgive the look though, because I'm kind of pumped about the game.
If they give us something along the lines of Uncharted, then I'll be very happy. I mean, there's that whole genre right now is left open. Naughty Dog hasn't done anything with it, so it'd be really cool to slot this one in there.
Okay, I don't want to get your hopes up when I say that though, because I didn't see any swinging. I was looking for swinging. No, there's no Uncharted.
That's
swinging,
true.
So
I mean, it's James Bond. He's probably swinging. It's just not swinging that you were used to.
There we go. But you're right. I did like how they showed that little driving bit, because that actually did look really cool. I'm like, more action games need a solid, set piece driving. I'm hoping it's knocks it out of the park in that aspect.
I agree. And I think, maybe like Silent Hill, they have a little bit of time to wow us. This is just our first look. And maybe when we get the deep dive in the gameplay, whereas Silent Hill, we saw the gameplay and we liked it, like maybe this will do the exact same thing. So I'm still thinking this could be good stuff, gentlemen.
Cool. Yeah.
I agree.
All right, well, taking a step back to a more like mellow, smaller, independent kind of game, Tides of Tomorrow. This multiplayer story game focuses on narrative choices and character development. Players' decisions will shape a very blue and orange looking world and influence the storyline, offering a personalized gaming experience, or at least that's what they're promising. It almost looks like a water world, but multiplayer. And what do you guys think?
I literally have no idea what this game is about, but what I think I love about it is being able to see someone else and how they played. And I don't know if they affect your game or you affect their game, or how they played changes the way you play. Whatever it is, I love that. I think that's the way I want to do multiplayer, where I don't actually have to play with someone, but I can play with someone if I want to. And maybe that's where they're going in this. It's really hard to judge. It looked great to me. It looked very colorful. It kind of maybe gave me some Dishonored vibe. I don't know why I feel that way. Not from the color or the world, but maybe the gameplay is Dishonored. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this game, and I think it looks fun.
I gotta agree, like it didn't see the gameplay enough to know exactly what was going on in the game. But Malding's right though. If I can if one of the examples they showed is that like a player came through previously and pushed someone into the water, and so that when the player was playing, the guy comes out wet and complaining and needing help. And if it tells me, oh, your friend Matt Malding's a butthole and pushed this guy in when he comes out of the water, I would think that was really funny. Or if Malding makes a choice that affects my game in a negative way, you best believe I'm going to call him up and be like, dude, you dick. I think it does kind of lend itself to some really cool experiences. And if it can deliver on its promise, this would definitely be interesting.
Yeah.
I'll jump in.
All right. Well, last but certainly not least was Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls, developed by Arc System Worlds and known for Guilty Gear and Dragon Ball Fighter Z. This 4v4 tag team fighting game features iconic Marvel characters. Now, it does have the 1v1 and 2v2, but the 4v4 was kind of the standout mode that they really went in depth on here, and it looked really interesting. Also, was interesting is that they took the Marvel characters and kind of gave them a Japanese cool aesthetic and really dynamic combat, almost like they were drawn characters, and the players can play both main fighters and assist characters. It's reminiscent basically of King of Fighters 2001. And this game is set for release in 2026. What do you guys think?
I mean, this looks sweet. I'm like, hey, why not? Like Marvel vs. Capcom style a little bit, like the drawn. It definitely looked like it's a passion project. It looks amazing. And on top of that, when they introduced that fighting stick, I was like, there's no way they're creating a fighting stick for
Mortal Kombat collection.
Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck? And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Now we got, the game that's probably going to run tournaments and going to sell that fighting stick. So I'm not a huge fighter fan anymore ever since you just let everyone whip my butt in those, and I'm just like trash. So we'll see if I can jump into something like this. I wouldn't mind giving it a shot because it looks great, but no, looks like a good solid title.
Moldy?
Well, those last Marvel versus Capcom games were pretty bad. I've tried a few times to get into them over and over again, but I just couldn't do it. This one definitely has my interest in this same package of old games I have. I have Marvel superheroes and X-Men versus Street Fighter and Children of the Atom. Like, I have all these games. I'm a huge fan of them. The Japanese anime style, though, I'm a little suspect of. However, it's not my favorite style, but let me play as Storm. Let me play as Doctor Doom. They had in there. They had Ghost Rider. They had lots of really fantastic characters, and I'm sure there's going to be so much more. Also, a little suspect about was this 4v4 playing. I mean, with 3 it was a lot. With 2 it was fine. I don't know. They just eventually, are they going to just do 10v10? Like, what? How? When is it going to stop? Is the only thing I'd like to know. But I'm very curious of what they come up with, and I'll totally be excited to play it.
Okay, those are some good takes. But gentlemen, what would you say? I got to know, quick lightning round of questions. What was your favorite game of the show?
Easy. Final Fantasy Tactics. Super excited. Can't wait to get my hands on it and play that game all over again. That's the one for me.
Pragmata. I just thought that looked awesome. Very unique take. I just thought to me, the visuals there looked truly next gen. So I was hyped for that one.
Nice. I got to say, 007 looked like a big budget sort of action adventure game, and I love those games, and I love 007, so I can't wait to hop in. I'm already sold. That's going to be a day one for me. But gentlemen, next up, which game did you think was the most sus or made you a little curious? You weren't sure exactly, a little bit cringe.
Well, we didn't talk about it, but it was this game that they showed called Baby Steps. And talk about walking simulator. I'm wondering, Lord, are you going to be so excited for this game since you love Death Stranding? You got 2 walking simulators.
So funny. Honestly, I was like, that could be kind of cool. I thought the mechanics were, and then I'm then he's in the bathroom, and I'm like, wait, this game is 100% certified sus. That is my sus game. Like, what are they thinking with this one? Very strange.
Okay, I'm also going to pick that one too, because the guy who introduced it said it made him laugh so hard that he was about to throw up. And I was like,
almost
oh, God. I know, yeah. And so then the thing starts, and it's like, you have to walk around the world, and it's totally hard. And I was like, this is just Death Stranding with poop jokes. This is not for me.
I did not even understand, like, the funny part was him trying to go to the bathroom or something. I just didn't even understand the humor.
I think it's not humor for our generation, my friends.
Okay,
it's
like
a skibbity
toilet level of humor.
I
don't get it.
absolutely think that's the case. Yes.
Okay.
That's really funny. Okay, if you had to give the show an overall grade, like letter grade from A to F, what would you guys give it?
C plus B minus, like somewhere in that. It had some surprises. Final Fantasy Tactics, of course, I love. That's a bit surprise. A couple of games there at the beginning look great. I expected a lot more anime RPGs, and they did not shove. There wasn't a bunch of that, so I was happy about that. So my expectations were low, and it reached them. I'm gonna settle on B minus.
Nice.
B minus. I'm gonna go with C minus, and that is because so many of these games are also coming to Xbox. I think it's worthy of saying that. Lots of these, especially the main titles.
We all know the Xbox showcase later on this week is going to be all on PlayStation 2.
Right, exactly. But that also goes to say, like, I guess it's good time. I think Xbox, the ball is in their court. It's time to really show that firepower. I'm hoping. And I feel like the C plus still kind of stands. I was expecting a whole segment. I was expecting 15 minutes of Death Stranding 2, and we didn't get that. So it's like, I don't understand why we wouldn't be showing that game when it comes out in a few weeks. Perfect time to do it.
Because we've seen it so much. I was so happy that we didn't have to watch anymore. I'm sorry.
But like, I wanted to see some cool, like maybe a full on, like, you know, how he's saying it's Metal Gear Solid-ish. So I was hoping to see some of that in play, but we did not. So yeah, C minus. I think that's my final answer. Regis.
I got to go with the same. I think this was a C for me. I think, honestly, Sony has mailed it in the PS5 generation because they went for that live service thing and they just forgot to make any games. So my expectations were so low on the ground for this, especially because they announced it right, like 24 hours ago. And right before the Xbox conference, it was clear that they wanted to get out from in front of Xbox because they knew after Xbox had a huge show, people would be like, well, now what's Sony doing? And they would be compared. This way, they can be run over by Microsoft and no one's going to talk about that they didn't have mini games at their show. But the thing is, they did. It was, honestly, I've seen worse Sony shows. This wasn't that bad. They had some good stuff to show. They had some filler in there. They didn't make us sit through Death Stranding 2, so I'm eternally grateful for that. As well as we all know Ghost of Yutei is coming out, and they had some cute little nods from the character in there, but they didn't hit us over the head of that. I thought this one was really restrained. It had some great surprises, so I'm going to go with a solid C with this, and I'm kind of proud of them.
Nice. That's fair. Yeah. I just think Sony, I mean, just some afterthoughts. Sony has so been writing it in. What the heck? So yes, they have kind of put it together, but I still think Xbox theoretically should really blow it away on Sunday. And
this is Sony's being propped up by third party here. Let's be honest, with you. And they cobbled together something that's decent. So good for them. I'd love to see them, start making games again. Xbox just bought all their competition, so I really have a high expectation. The bar is much higher for them.
The bar is high for that show.
But then Sony fanboys can go and watch the Microsoft presentation and enjoy that as well because they know they're all going to get that. So maybe the real Sony show is this weekend when Microsoft shows all the stuff they're going to put on PlayStation.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's a good call.
Good stuff.
We will see, and definitely come back and check out the podcast and the YouTube channel after the Microsoft show because we'll have another update for you right after that. But other than that, that pretty much wraps up everything we have for this. So if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're listening on a podcast, please tell 397 friends. And on behalf of Matthew Maulding, Matt Lord, and myself, Dan Whitehill, thanks for joining us. And as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.